A hero. Everybody has one, and most people desire to be one in some way. They are brave, strong, smart, capable in ways we aren't, and always find a way to save the day and defeat evil. They are able to conquer their fears and use their iron will and determination to win the day, no matter how hard it may be. The hero is a common concept seen in every culture. At the very core, a hero is someone who overcomes adversity and moves humanity forward in some way or another, and this can be in ways that are both big and small. In hip-hop, there are many people that we look up to, but very few fit the typical hero trope the same way J. Cole does. J. Cole in the past few years has established a reputation for being one of the most wholesome and lovable dudes in hip-hop. He comes off as kind, wise, understanding, and greatly mature. And one of the reasons he is that way is because of what he's gone through as a man, much of which he's expressed in his music and in a few interviews. J. Cole's music has evolved into being something that soothes and educates many people on serious topics that many can also relate to. The way he spits things in a simplistic and relatable way has garnered a large fan base and loyal following. So loyal, in fact, that he can release an album out of nowhere and still sell 400k plus units in the first week. But what exactly is a hero trope, and how does J. Cole of all people fit that trope? Well, in this video, we'll go over all of that. So let's begin. For the definition of what a hero is, we will go with the popular hero's journey structure created by Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell was a college literary professor who studied myths all around the world and found a common hero structure that they all shared. This structure has gone on to be the backbone of many famous books and stories. Stories such as Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and more all exhibit the hero's journey. The hero's journey structure not only fits literary figures but also real people in real life. The way the hero structure is created, it can apply to anyone's lives, and it's probably happened to you before without you even knowing it. The hero structure goes as follows. There are 12 steps or stages that a hero goes through. 1. Ordinary world. 2. Call to adventure. 3. Refusal of the call. 4. Meeting the mentor. 5. Crossing the threshold. 6. Test allies and enemies. 7. Approach to the inmost cave. 8. The ordeal. 9. Reward, seizing the sword. 10. The road back. 11. Resurrection. And 12. Return with the elixir. The ordinary world is the status quo, the regular day-to-day of the hero. The call to adventure is when something happens in the hero's life that incites him to adventure, something that beckons him to abandon his regular world and to enter a new one. The refusal of the call is when the hero refuses the call, or for whatever reason, the hero feels that they are not ready and at first denies the call. Meeting the mentor, the hero backtracks on his or her decision and decides to answer the call, and they meet someone to teach them the ropes on the journey. They then cross the threshold, and now the journey can begin. A journey that is many things, but is ultimately a journey of self-transformation. On that journey, the hero will meet many tests, allies, friends, and enemies, both within and outward. At one point, the hero will approach the villain's lair or approach the innermost cave, and will be close to their goal, but there will be challenges ahead of them. Then finally, the hero will face their biggest test in the journey so far. This is where they meet face to face with their fears. After fighting at this critical moment, which will either make or break them, the hero will then overcome and then seize the reward by seizing the sword to fight their foe. In the road back, the hero has gotten their courage, but more problems arise inconveniently, and they must face them as well. In the resurrection, the hero meets their final test and gains victory. Afterwards, the hero then returns home with the elixir. They are transformed and changed, never to be the same ever again. They remain ready and waiting for the next journey to begin and for the process to begin again. The hero's journey is vital to us because we all go through our own hero's journey. We all go through periods of transformation in our lives, both mental, physical, and in our minds, and this is what makes us gravitate towards the story of heroes so much. So now that we know what a hero story is, let's dive deep into it and see how J. Cole's heroic story goes. Jermaine Lamar Cole was born on January 28, 1985. He was born on an army base in Frankfurt, West Germany, to a black father and a white mother. His father would abandon the family when he was young, and at 8 months old, his mother would move with him to Fayetteville, North Carolina. While growing up, Cole would develop an affinity for both basketball and music. He began rapping at the age of 12, and this was spurred on even more when his mother brought him a sampler drum machine in 2000. Cole would eventually move to NYC to begin pursuing his dreams of becoming a rapper. In New York City is where J. Cole's hero journey really begins. While there, J. Cole attended St. John's University. It was in New York that J. Cole would grind it out both in rap and in school to become something great. He would finish college and graduate in 2007, which was the same year he released The Come Up. So we can see that J. Cole has gone through steps 1, 2, 3, and step 5. He has left his ordinary world, answered the call, perhaps after refusing it, and has begun his journey to greatness after crossing the threshold. He's not met the mentor yet, or at least the one we know of, whom will come later on in the story. J. Cole would begin his music career the same year he graduated college. In the warm-up, J. Cole reveals at the end of the mixtape that his hope was to get signed before he graduated, but that didn't happen, which he believes is for a good reason. He would release the warm-up 2 years later in 2009. In both these tapes, we can see a young J. Cole and all the makings of a great man, but also the traits of a young man. We can see Cole's potential, his lyrical skills, various flows, and his talents for production as well. In these tapes, we see the seeds which will grow and blossom later into the man we know today. But at the same time, we see the juvenile imperfections of Cole. J. Cole starts out as any young man would, ambitious, hungry, tireless, and having an appetite for women and a good time. Cole has many songs in both the come up and the warm up dedicated to youthful exploits. From fucking other niggas' girlfriends, to falling in love, to wanting more money, status, and glory. J. Cole is your typical young, foolish male, but he does have a lovable side. In many songs, he reminisces on dead friends, friends that never made it to college, and offers inspiration and some wise words on the college system and the United States as a whole. He tells others to keep striving for their dreams just like he is, and he also speaks on his hustle, his grind, and the challenges he faces in trying to rise. Challenges from being overlooked, not making it where he thought he was supposed to be, and much more. When you listen to these first few tapes, from Come Up to Warm Up to Friday Night Lights, you can hear Cole's conviction and hunger. This nigga really want that crown, and he going for it with all his might. Cole would rap about these things in songs like Intro, Simba, I'm the Man, School Days, Dollar and a Dream on Come Up, and songs like Intro, The Warm Up, Grown Simba, Just to Get By, and Lights Please on the Warm Up. Right in this stage, Cole is still in steps 1 to 3 and step 5. Grinding and working hard. He will meet a few challenges, one of which being that he didn't make it yet, but right around the release of the warm-up, he gets signed to Roc Nation and he will attain a mentor, which we all know as Jay-Z. Now, in the end, Cole might have had more mentors behind the scenes, but it's safe to assume that Jay was one of the greatest teachers there, as Jay-Z is one of his greatest inspirations. It is here we move on to step 4, where we meet the mentor, and J. Cole can celebrate a victory. He's worked hard, met failure, but didn't give up, and he kept going and was rewarded for that. But the journey is far from over, and the challenges and transformations are far from done. At this point, J. Cole has signed to The Roc, and he releases his breakout mixtape, Friday Night Lights. One of his greatest projects, and considered by many, myself included, a classic mixtape. When this mixtape dropped, I was in high school. I listened to it over and over again for 2 months nonstop. In this mixtape, we see how J. Cole has grown, and we still see his hunger. Cole has become highly proficient as a rapper, at the very least. Some of the best bars I heard at that time came from this project. The flows, the beats, the features from Wale to Drake, and the energy and vibe of the project were all insane. It was around this era that mixtapes started gaining album-level quality, and this project proves this in many ways. Songs like In the Morning, You Got It were the love songs and the songs for the ladies. And back to the topic, Freestyle, Villmatic, and Two-Face, Cost Me a Lot, and much more, is where we see Cole get conscious and show off his versatile flows as well as his wordplay, clever metaphors, and overall lyricism. This tape would solidify Cole as someone who would be in the game for a long time. Whether he'd become a legend and rise high was still to be decided, but this tape turned eyes on him and they'd be on him for the rest of his career. Cole was growing and becoming better, but he was still not yet the hip-hop sage we know today. He still had growing to do, and he was still obsessed with a lot of the things that your typical rapper would rap about. From clothes to money to women, Cole was still a wild young man who didn't know much about the world and was still chasing his ambitions. Cole is still wrapped up by material desires. As he says, "It cost me a lot. I'm not in love with material things, but I'm in love with the feelings they bring." And the fact that the whole song is a flex song just shows how much more growing J. Cole really had to do. J. Cole hadn't become Yoda yet. He was still a young Luke Skywalker. In the next part, we will explore the rest of J. Cole's albums and see how it fits the rest of the hero's journey, structure, and model. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content and analyses just like this. Be safe, loving, and prosperous. Peace.